Hello and welcome to the Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friend. If you've been looking for a podcast geared towards your growth, self-awareness, navigating your brain's daily mind drama, and deep inner work to become your highest and best self, you are in the perfect place. Let's get started. Good morning. What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Your Highest Self podcast. Welcome. If you are brand new, I'm so excited to have you here. I don't know how you found me, but I'm very happy that you did. And if you're a returning listener, as always, thank you for being here and joining me. You guys, we are almost at 40,000 downloads and almost to 100 episodes. I am so excited about that. I think if you keep sharing, you keep telling your friends about it, keep tagging me in your Instagram posts when you're listening, leave a review if you are able based on the app that you listen to, especially if it's Apple. If we keep doing that, we might hit 50,000 downloads by the end of the year. And I would really love that. That is actually a milestone I hope to reach and am aiming for. So please share the podcast if you're enjoying the episodes. Also, very quickly before we get started, I wanted to remind you that my 30th birthday is coming up on October 10th. It's this coming Sunday. I am so super excited. And do not forget that for my birthday, a treat and something fun I wanted to do was offer 30% off of my 1-year coaching package since I'm turning 30. FYI, that is a $3,000 discount on my one-on-one coaching package if you pay in full. You get 1-year access to the Becoming Your Highest Self online portal with all the coaching videos, all previous program workbooks, journals, prompts, and you get weekly 60-minute coaching for a year. So think of how much my life has changed in a year if you listen to the last episode, and how much your life can change in a year if you're a hell yes to showing up for yourself. I wanted to make it fun, so I figured, why not? 30% off for my 30th birthday. Let's save them $3,000 if they're ready to be a hell yes to themselves. If that is you, you can go to macyrenee.com, click the tab for one-on-one coaching, and go from there. And of course, reach out to me if you have any questions. Sign up for a free 60-minute consult if you need to chat before you make the decision. But if you don't need to chat, you can be a hell yes. All you got to do is click and it's available to you, and I will reach out and girlfriend, dude, we will lock arms and go at it for you to become your highest self. I work with both men and women on general one-on-one life coaching for self-mastery, self-awareness, and all of the things, Okay, let's dive into today's episode, shall we? We're going to talk about the benefit of curiosity. Now, this is something I use every single day in my life for myself, for other people, but especially for my clients. And if you are someone that has your own business or you're in a leadership position, if you're in charge of managing other people, if you are teaching other people, if you're in a career where you have a responsibility to take care or mentor other people in any way, shape, or form, I think I already said if you're a business owner, but basically there are a lot of reasons and a lot of roles where curiosity is going to be your best friend. But even if you're not in a job position, I'm talking even as a parent, honestly, if you're a human being with a human brain, curiosity is one of your very best friends, okay? I'm going to tell you why. Whenever you are in curious energy, it means you're really listening to understand, not listening to debate, not listening to argue, but really listening to understand someone else. And when you're in curiosity and you're listening to understand someone else, and you have emotional intelligence, right, to not be necessarily affected by what they say, or even if you are affected by what they say, you have enough self-awareness to be like, okay, my thoughts are always the reason why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, right? If you can bring yourself back to that, Curiosity is going to be the fastest and most simplest way to understand where someone else is mentally, emotionally, physically, and to have insight on what you can do to help them or to move forward or to understand them or to be of support to them. So, for instance, let's talk parenting, because I know a lot of you listening to this are parents. When your child has a full-blown tantrum, there's a few ways that you can handle it. You may blow a gasket, right? Become frustrated. You're tired. They're tired. You don't know exactly why they're having a meltdown, and it feels very difficult to navigate. And so if you immediately blow up, right, then they become maybe more upset, more agitated, and then it's not really solving anything. But think about when you get into curious energy and you're really, truly curious about what has triggered their tantrum. Why are they upset? This was a skill I used a lot as an occupational therapist. For those of you that may be new here, I have been an occupational therapist for the last 6 years. I recently walked away from my occupational therapy role shortly after COVID-19 hit and pursued full-time coaching. But I worked in homes with children that were birth to age 3, and I worked very closely with their parents. And one of the things that always served me was being very, very curious. Curious as to what routines were happening in the house, curious into why parents parented the way that they did, curious into the child's behavior. And what that does is it gives you a very clean slate, again, to understand. You can't really help someone fully unless you're in a place where you're able to understand. So even as a coach, when I'm listening to all of the things that my clients may think is a problem in their life, I come to it with very curious energy. I come to it ready to ask really good questions and see exactly what is going through their mind. And I would do the same thing with the kiddos on my caseload if they were old enough to really understand, okay, why is their behavior what it is right now? Why are we having such a hard day today versus how come today is such a hard session compared to last time when it seems like the environment's very similar, when it seems like most things are the same. And being in curious energy also requires you to have a lot of patience. So if you're a leader in your work, right, or you're a teacher, and maybe you have a kid that does well on most of their exams, and suddenly the last 2 exams, they're not doing so well. Curious energy is going to help you help them, okay? Curious energy is also a lack of judgment when you're listening to understand. So I'm not judging. I'm not trying to be a superhero. I'm really slowing my own self down and managing my own mind so that I can really have a human-to-human experience and help the other person. So again, if you're in a leadership position, you're a manager or you're an executive, being very curious as to the people that you're working with and what they're doing in their roles is huge. Because if you can understand where their mind is and what they're thinking, then you can kind of see what exactly is happening. If we go right into reprimanding, right into shaming, right into judgment, right into, a blow up, we're not serving the people around us. And that's what we tend to do as human beings, I think, and why there's a lot of division in our world is because we don't approach other humans and other people with just genuine curiosity. We don't listen to understand. We listen a lot of times to be right, to prove our point, and we let our ego truly get involved of connection. We don't allow authentic, full-blown, heartfelt connection. Our ego often comes in and says, if I'm curious, right, or if I listen to them, they're going to think I'm agreeing with them. And that's not the case. When you approach things with curiosity and energy, You really get to hear and see the entire picture. And honestly, when you're listening in and you have no judgment, it gives you more leverage to ask more insightful questions to truly understand why someone is thinking what they're thinking or feeling what they're feeling or doing what they're doing, okay? So I wanted to touch on that. I know that this is probably one of the shorter episodes that I've ever done, but if you can get into curious energy with other people, you're going to be able to serve them at such a higher level. Now, let's turn this around really quickly and talk about curiosity into yourself. That's one of the best things you can ever do for yourself, okay? That's what has helped me so much. When I feel fear, I get curious as to why. When I feel anxiety, I allow myself to be curious as to why. Now, what I used to do when I would feel anxiety is run from it. I did not like the way anxiety felt. I still don't love the way anxiety feels. But I know that anxiety is an emotion, and I know that anxiety typically is stemming from something that is happening underlying, like subconsciously, a thought that's crossing through my brain, anticipation of something. I might not always be able to pinpoint exactly why, but using this tool of being curious with myself is very helpful. So I will oftentimes put one hand on my chest, one hand on my stomach. I might lay or sit, take some deep breaths, and just ask it why it's there. Why are you here right now? What's happening? Like in this moment, you're okay. In this moment, you are safe. So what is happening internally that is causing this? Again, it is such a loving act to be curious and to just turn inward to know thyself, to know other people. Practice this. Again, it's going to take a lot of patience, and it takes awareness of when your ego's trying to be involved. So like, for instance, if my husband comes home and he's had, a terrible day at work or just a bad day in general, it's more helpful for me as his wife to be in curious energy and ask questions as to why and hold the space for him to feel his emotions rather than act on my own emotions. Like maybe, I was having such a good day and now you've made me grumpy and why are you coming home like that and acting like that? It instead of taking the focus off of me and making whatever he's experiencing mine, I turn all of my energy and focus into understanding what he is experiencing or anybody else in my life. And then if I feel triggered, I turn back to me and get curious as to why. This is a huge self-awareness tool. And if you can incorporate this in your life, you will find that you have so much more peace. Okay, you will understand yourself at a much deeper level. You'll be able to understand other people at a much deeper level. And when you don't understand something, but you fully invested in listening to someone, again, you have the opportunity to ask better questions. If you're not looking to listen to argue, but instead you're looking to listen to understand, it can change the way you lead in a leadership role. It can change the way you parent. It can change the way you show up in your personal relationships, your professional relationships. It can really impact the way that you are able to interact with other people who are really just like you, okay? So again, you guys, remember you have 7 days to hop on my 30th birthday, 30% off 1-year coaching package. All you have to do is go to MacyRenee.com, scroll down, you will see it. It's a pay in full. Reach out to me if you have any questions, set up a consult. There are 7 days left, and I look forward to working with you. I will see you again next time. Bye.